Welcome everybody to the Tuesday night healing service with First United Spiritualist Church. We have Rickie Avitan leading our healing service tonight. It's going to be a really special and powerful evening with Rickie. Before we begin, I'll just go over the events for the week. Following our healing service tonight at 8:30 p.m., we have Development Circle with Parni Verdi. On Thursday at 7:30 p.m., we have Trance Mediumship with Rickie Avitan. On Saturday at 12 p.m., 12 to 5 p.m., we have our monthly psychic fair. Crystal Light Psychic Fair, it's online. Then on Sunday, our morning service is with Deborah White at 11 a.m. And that's our soul service for Sunday. Then a week from now on Tuesday, September 28th, we have healing service with Neville Kim Singh, 7:30 p.m., followed by Development Circle with Tara Diana at 8:30 p.m. And more information about those events can be found on the church's website at firstunitedspirit.ca. And now I'd love to invite everyone to join me for sitting in silence for a moment. Letting ourselves relax and fully open to the healing energy that is here. Letting go of any tensions or busyness of the day. And arriving into this gathering. Fully relaxing and opening. Divine Spirit, thank you so much for calling us together tonight. And thank you for Rickie Avitan giving of her healing gifts, sharing them with us tonight. We honor and celebrate the divine feminine. Thanking the feminine for embracing us and loving us and showing us the power of softness, creation, fullness, and receiving and rest. We honor and thank the divine masculine for the beautiful holding and support, allowing us to blossom open. We thank the masculine for showing us the strength of support and giving and emptiness. We celebrate the harmony of these energies within each of us. We celebrate the coming together into wholeness and oneness. Thank you, Divine Spirit, for all the gifts and the abundance that you bring into our lives for the guidance on our healing path, and for allowing us to meet and share life experiences with all the different beautiful souls that touch us on our journey. With many thanks and deep love and gratitude. Namaste. Thank you for joining me in the opening prayer. It's so wonderful to sit together here tonight. And I'm so happy to introduce Rickie Avitan, a very powerful medium, trance medium, a very powerful healer, so attuned and giving of her heart. She's given so much to the church and gives so much support to many different people, many different parts of our community. Thank you, Rickie. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful opening prayer and setting the intention. Good evening and good day, everybody, wherever you are. And thank you for joining me today on this quite a challenging topic. And it's overdose and grief. And this will be the third, one of the third topics on the subject of grief. So we looked at suicide and grief and tragic death and grief. And today it will be the use of overdose and grief. And so for those of you who are going to be watching this recording in the future, I'd like you to be gentle with yourself and take the time and breathe as you watch this recording in the future. And so I'd like to look at some evidence, and then we'll give how to cope and to deal with this pandemic that we have been experiencing here in British Columbia, Canada. And I've done the topic is the talk is going to be primarily targeted to British Columbia. And it's inspired or driven by, as a medium, I have seen numerous families who came to see me for mediumistic purposes due to a loss of a loved one for drug overdose. So what are we talking about when you look at drug overdose? So we're looking at street drugs, controlled and illegal drugs like heroin, cocaine, MDMA, methamphetamine, and fentanyl, which has been our major trauma here in British Columbia, is the fentanyl. Could be medication that are prescribed, obtained, and purchased on the street. So could be unknown means of where the origin of that drugs came from. And it could be a combination of prescribed drugs and those drugs that we talked about. So for instance, a sleeping pill that is prescribed in combination of one of these medication. A little bit of statistics. In June 2021, this few months ago, 159 suspected illicit drugs toxicity related death here in BC. This is the second largest number of suspected death ever recorded in the month of June. And 1,011 people suspected illicit drug toxicity death between January and June of 2021. From January to June, 1,011 people died with suspected drug overdose. It's quite heartbreaking. As I was reading the information, it is absolutely heartbreaking. So be gentle with yourself as you're listening to this. there is a 34% of increase number of deaths recorded between January and June of 2020. So the number of illicit drugs death in June 2021 equates to 5.3 deaths per day. The number of illicit drug toxicity in June 21, as I said, 5.3, and in 2021, the 71% of those dying were the age of 30 to 59, young people, 30 to 59, 71%. Mostly men that are accounted for 80% of these deaths. The cities that are having the highest number of illicit drugs, Vancouver, Surrey, and Victoria, the highest numbers. And what is interesting, as I was reading, is no deaths have been reported at supervised consumption of drugs overdose prevention centers. So that is wonderful to know that those centers that opened a couple of years ago and being used are preventing those deaths of drug overdose because no death have been found, reported, sorry. What are we looking at trends? Male illicit drug toxicity death rate remained at a high rate. Women, female remain the same. So it's stable. Men is increasing. Among the rates of age 19 years remained quite high, but the rates of 0 to 18 is stable. When you look at the proportion of 50-year-old years of age has steadily been increasing in the past 6 years. Male, 50 years old and up, drug overdose, illicit drug overdose death has been increasing in the past 6 years. So we really need to look at what's going on in here. The main drug is fentanyl that we have been looking at. Betty?
Can I ask a question? Is there any reason, has they come to any conclusion why the men from 30 to 59 are?
I am sure if we'll do a different search, absolutely, there are reasons when we look at, and I think that we spoke about this a little bit in the other topics, when you look at men coping mechanisms. So in the other topics, and I don't want to talk too much because I haven't done the research about that. So, but from what I have looked at and read a bit about it, is that men don't, they keep everything inside. So it's more difficult to recognize within men. And so their coping mechanism is different than female. And there is many other things. Men lost their job. Men lost a loved one. So there are many things that I have not done the research to really speak to it. But if we do, I am sure that we can find out why. So we'll be looking at people who have lost loved ones for drug overdose, their reaction and trauma and loss. And so that is what we're going to be looking at today, is the loved ones, those who remain, the families, friends, their reaction, coping, and what can we do to support them. Everyone reacts to trauma and loss very differently. Everybody reacts differently. There is no one same as the other. We all different backgrounds, different mechanisms, different ways of coping. And so there is an emotional reaction and there is a physical reaction. And so we grieve intensely because we love intensely. We grieve intensely because we love intensely those who we have lost to drugs use. What are the physical reactions that a person who have lost a loved one, what may experience? Some, all, or some of those reactions. Any painful, back pain, chest pain, might experience sleep pattern changes, inability or oversleep, exhaustion. It doesn't take much to feel exhausted, feeling of numbness, not able to function. Everything that they want to do, it's like it takes so much energy. So much energy. It's like lifting a brick is so much energy due to that the physical reaction. So changes in eating. Absolutely don't want to eat anything or very little. I've seen people who came to my home and they have told me they have lost a tremendous amount of weight. Lack of appetite, nausea, could be binge eating a lot, or could be also a coping mechanism, increased use of alcohol and drugs. Some of the emotional reaction that can be to the grief and trauma. So it could be shock, disbelief, anxiety, very restless, extreme anger, outburst, rage, numbness. A person might feel that they want to hurt themselves, depression, difficulty concentrating, sadness, overwhelm, panic attack. A person can have panic attack, feeling disconnected from the body. When you talk to a person in such a state, you feel like they are not present. They're not hearing you. They're not responding. You're asking questions, is like, what? I didn't hear you. Guilt. Some have suicide thoughts. Some have desire for revenge and punishment. Blaming society, blaming government for not doing anything, not doing enough. Blaming those people who provided those drugs. Feeling of loneliness, wanting to avoid places. I know of a lady that her son died in a bathroom in Starbucks. I believe it was in Port Moody. So imagine that mom that have to walk to Starbucks, no matter where. That memory, that feeling will be there. Yes. So those are the things that we can think about when we hear about a loss and we are talking to a person that have lost someone, a loved one, to a drug use. So how do we cope physically? What do we do? So let our body feel what it needs to experience. For instance, there are this very difficult, painful emotion, and we want to squash them. We don't want to experience them, but it is important to experience those emotions, because the more we ignore them, the more we're trying to squash them, the more they will surface in many different ways. So I would say acknowledge that emotion. I'm feeling really angry. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling lonely. When those emotions are flooding you, just allow them to surface. Allow yourself to experience that emotion rather than squashing it. Some people would become a workaholic in order to push those emotions, but those emotions will come up in one way or the other. So there is no really getting around those emotions, but allowing them to surface and then to look at, how am I dealing with that? If I need to yell, go have a shower, cry and yell in the shower. Have someone that you trust to give you this opportunity to express those really difficult emotions. Find a safe place that you can be alone and let yourself feel those emotions. And so it's really important to allow the emotion to be expressed rather than to be pushed down. I am angry. Acknowledge it, the word angry. I'm sad. I'm overwhelmed. I can't concentrate. So once you acknowledge it to the conscious mind, you're giving it expression. Words have power. So you're giving it expression, which discharge that intensity of that emotion that might be stuck in the body. Yes. So have a coping ways, as if you're having a date with yourself. Today, I'm going to have 5 minutes for myself to express this emotion. If you're feeling sad, acknowledge sadness. I am feeling sadness. And take this time to acknowledge that sadness. So what it will create, it will bring you some management and control, rather than the whole 24 hours will be feeling angry. I wanted to burst. And say, I'm going to take this 30 minutes for myself to say, I am feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. I'm experiencing this really difficult emotion. Acknowledge it, say it to yourself. If there is someone you can talk to, is wonderful. But give it expression rather than not. And so have a plan, a helpful way to express this emotion. Anger is very, very common. It's a very common response when we lose the loved one. So you might feel angry at the world, angry at the substance, angry at the person who gave and sold that substance to your loved one. You can talk to a therapist about that. Other mental health people. If you're connected to a church, a synagogue, a mosque, and you trust someone there, have a conversation. The whole idea is to recognize this emotion and to allow to give it expression. So you're not alone in here. Talk to a friend, to some family member. If you're into art, give it expression. Painting, drawing, writing, journaling. Anything you can do to express it. Punch a pillow. Listen to music. Go for a walk. Have a shower and yell. But the important is that I'm trying to emphasize is to express it in a constructive way rather than keep it in there and either go into drug, alcohol, overwork, or an emotion that is there 24 hours without a moment of a break. So once you discharge it in a constructive way, journaling, writing, paintings, talking, walking, listening to music, yelling in the shower, then you're giving it an expression that intensity is being discharged out of your physical body and mental state. Person might feel a panic attack, which might be a rapid heart rate, feeling I'm going to die. But we don't die from a panic attack. It will pass and it moves into intensity, really, really intense, and you feel I can't do it. But in about 10 or so minutes, it just goes down. So breathe through it. Breathe through your nose and out through your mouth. As you're taking a breath in from your nose and out your mouth through a pursed lips. Again, breathe in from your nose and you can count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And do that a couple times. And what you happen is, as you slow down your breath, your heart rate will slow down. And that feeling of panic attack, I'm going to die or something going to happen to me, will physically change. Slow down your breath. Breathe through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out your mouth with the pursed lips. 1, 2, 3, 4. Physiologically, heart rate will slow down, breath will slow down, and that cycle of the physical reaction will change. So that will help you to gain control, and you feel that you are in control. With all this emotion, difficult emotion, you feel like I am not in control, I am losing it. So those are the little things that you can feel, I can manage it and I can control it, and helps you to calm down. And I would really encourage you to do it regularly. So when there is this emotion, a panic attack, or massive heart rate, rapid heart rate, that your mind knows what to do. So when you sit there and you're breathing in, breathing out, and all of a sudden you experience this panic attack, your mind is already trained of what to do. So it will automatically go into breathing in for, breathing out for, breathing in for, breathing out for. Some people may experience suicide thoughts. It's not unusual. It's not unusual for someone who has lost a loved one for drug overuse. It's devastating loss. Again, we have talked about last time, there is this crisis line, and I'm going to read it again. 1-800-784-2433. If you're experiencing a suicide thoughts, call this line. 24 hours, anywhere in British Columbia. Get help, so you know you're not alone. There are no time limits of how long this is going to continue. It's not in 1 year you should be feeling this, in 6 months you should be feeling that. No. This is a new normal. It is a new reality. It is this new relationship with unwanted reality. And this new arrival, which is the grief to a loss of a loved one for drug use. So I call it the new arrival of this grief, that we learn how to develop a relationship with it, and how to develop a relationship with this new normal. That doesn't mean that it is okay. It is painful, it's hurtful, but it is a new reality. So we learn to live with this new reality. And so when it feels like it will be unsurvivable, and it's very challenging at times, but there is ways that to find this intensity will move and change. The intensity of these emotions will move and change. Grief doesn't magically disappear. It doesn't just one day gone. That loved one that you're missing tremendously, always going to be there. But that knowing how to live with this new reality, taking a new clothing, if I should say it this way. And so the intensity of it changes over time. It's like you learn to walk with it differently. And sometimes when there is an anniversary or a birthday, you experience your memory, or a place that you went to, that you and your loved one went there together, that will again experience that emotion. Allow it. Allow it. So we grieve together. And what I say by that there are friends, families, community, groups that have of mom, for instance, that have experienced the same experience, that you can get together and share this experience. Sharing is caring, and sharing is healing. And as you share that experience with someone who have experienced the same, there is a lot of healing. A lot of healing. And all of a sudden, you're supporting one another in that. Do self-care. Self-care is important. Particularly at the beginning, you don't feel like you want to do anything. But over time, even if you eat a little bit, just choose food that is nutrition to you. It is element that can sustain you. Get up in the morning, develop a routine, and that will help with concentration. That will help with creating your focus. I'm getting up in the morning. I'm going to be having my coffee. I'm going to have a light breakfast. I'm going to call my friend. Those little things, nothing have to be major. Baby steps. Baby steps. Nothing have to be major. Writing in a journal. Walk. Anything that you feel supports you. And there are several places that you can get support. As I said, there's a lot of stigma that is associated with drug use. And the responses that family members and friends receive can be a little bit challenging. So when you are listening or knowing of someone who have lost loved one to a drug use, when you're talking with them, you speak their language. For instance, they might say, "My son passed away." And your response would be, "I am so sorry for passing of your son." If they would say, "My husband passed with drug overdose," and you would say, "I'm so sorry that your husband passed with drug overdose." So you use that language. Yes, so you become partners in here. Oh, they heard me. And just being there, sometimes we don't really have to say much, but being silence bigger than words. That silence is caring. If the person is crying, be there. We have a tendency to want to fix it, but it's not always what that loved one needs. They may just need you to be there to listen to the story. And sometimes that's very, very, very powerful. Rather than to make suggestions, I'm sure that people know what to do. And being there to support and reiterate and reflect back, it's major. So in British Columbia, some of the resources that I have gave in the past and some of the talk of today is there is a really good grief guidebook and entitled Gone Too Soon, and you can find it on the BC BHBC bereavement helpline as well. There are crises. We are facing major crisis in British Columbia. And together as a society, we must do something. It's our children's, our brothers, our sisters, our husbands, our friends that are dying in all sorts of places, alone most of the time. So we have to do something as a society, in the government level, in the policy level, and then as an individual. I don't have the answer. All I know is that we have to do something to stop this pandemic. It is a pandemic that is plaguing our society here, and we have to do something to help these people who are reaching out, and we are losing them for drug use. So thank you for listening for this talk, and please, as you're listening to this recording, be gentle with yourself. Make yourself a cup of tea and take it in chunks, particularly if you have lost someone to drug overdose, and if, or maybe you know someone who have. So take it in small chunks. So I'd like us to move into our part of the healing. When we'll do that for about 10 minutes. I was in a retreat center, and a wonderful Swami by the name of Radha have created or put together Invocation of Light. So let us do it as we are taking our time to put our thoughts to all those who crossed due to overdose, drug use. So let us close our eyes and take a nice breath in and out. And I'd like you to visualize a bright light, a beautiful bright light on top of your head. And you consciously repeating within your mind, I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light. Allow this light to penetrate every cell of your body, every part of you. I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light. Allow this light to fill your chest and your heart. And now share the light as you visualize in front of you a loved one. Either alive or past. And see the light from you into your loved one. See he or she surrounded with light. See the light penetrating every part of them. As you're looking up in your mind's eye, filling them with light, pillar of light, bright light. The invocation of light is an act of will and surrender. See them filled with light. Share your light with them, so they are completely filled with light. And allow the image of your loved one to fade away for a moment, as you're bringing more and more light into you. Repeat in your mind, I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light. Allow the light to reach every part of you. Illuminate all within the mind, the body, the soul. And I leave you there for a few moments to bathe in this divine light. Allow more and more light. Let the light illuminate every part of you, every part of your being, every particle within you. Bright light, divine light, complete illumination. You are light. You are divine light. And in a moment, I'd like you to become aware of your breath. As you're bathing in this divine light within and without, internal and external. Just know that each and every time that you wish to bathe in this light, repeat those phrases and share the light with those who you wish to share with. Take a moment to become aware of your breath as you're breathing in, breathing out. And let us send a prayer to those beings, loved one who crossed due to drug use. Dear Father God, may our children, our fathers, mom, brothers and sisters, across to your world. May they be looked after by you. May your light be shine upon them. May your light, Father, be a guiding light to the families and friends who are here on earth, missing their beloveds. May their path be met with ease and forgiveness. May they be illuminated with your light, Father. Keep them all safe. Keep them safe. Amen. Become aware of your breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, please. Just open your eyes, nice and gentle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this experience together. It's a difficult topic, necessary. Together we can make a difference. Together we can make a difference. As a collective team, as collective minds. Thank you. If there is anyone who wants to share any thoughts about the subject or experience, I think we have a few minutes left.
That was so well done, Rickie. And that was a really great meditation. My feet are still feeling like they're about that big, like and I can hardly move them.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm going to write all of that down. I'm going to watch this video and we're going to write all of those statements down so I can
Thank you.
do this outside in Mother Nature. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was put together by Swami Radha. And she created this Invocation of Light. It's very powerful when you do it regularly, bringing the light in and visualizing it, experiencing it, and sharing it.
I could feel it all through my body.
Yes,
It's
very,
incredible.
yes, very powerful.
Thank you so much. And
Very
it's so nice to see you and Madeline. I love you both.
Thank you. Same here. Back to you, Menelai. You're muted.
That was a really beautiful healing and meditation. Very powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for addressing grief and overdose. Very powerful as well. Well, thank you everyone for participating in our Tuesday night healing service. Many blessings to everyone. We have a development circle coming up with Parneet Verdi. So please, if you're called, stay on for that. We have Lynn Marie joining us. Hi, Lynn Marie.
Hi.
And we will close out our healing service. Blessings to everybody. May we all carry this beautiful healing energy into our daily lives.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Menelai. Everybody who've been here.
Night and blessings.
Yes. Bye-bye.